King Lwandile Dalindyebo has been mostly welcomed. The AbaThembu King was imprisoned for 4 years for kidnapping, assault, arson, defeating the ends of justice. The king was granted a special remission of sentence on the day of reconciliation. Now let's go to Eastern Cape and speak to our reporter Lwandile Mbulali, who's joining us on the line. Good evening and welcome to The Full View. Let's start off here, some of the reaction from community members as well as the subject of the king.
Well, good evening to you and good evening to everyone watching at home. You know, when the announcement was made last week that the king would actually be released, no one actually thought that it would be today. And when the news broke this morning, I'm telling you that even now some people are still unaware. As you can tell, that people are all over town still trying to shop for their Christmas groceries and other things. But when you spoke to the family is excited about the release of the head of that family, the release of the king of AbaThembu, and saying that, you know, they are happy that he will be spending time with his family. And you know, he was released last night in East London, but he did not go to Bumbane Palace immediately. I hear that he wanted to actually spend time with the immediate family, and when we spoke to the family, the spokespeople, people speaking for the family, they did mention that, you know, it will be communicated as to when the king would actually go to Bumbane Great Palace, when he will be addressing, where he will actually be meeting his people, and that announcement would actually be coming in the next few days. But one thing I can tell you right now is that his people are excited about his release, especially people from around Bumbane and some of his victims. And you know, last week after the news broke, we did speak to one of the victims at Kyalaka, where he said no, he doesn't mind if the king is released, but the only thing that he wants is that he will be compensated, because you know that his house actually burnt down, and he said that all of the victims, all of the 5 victims, do want money, do want compensation. So today we also spoke to another family, to other victims, and they said the same thing. They said they don't mind that he is released. They actually wanted him to be released, but the only problem is that when the king bent down their belongings, they lost a lot of things that cannot be recovered. So he can't be released, he can't be with his family, he can't be the ruler of AbaThembu. But one thing that they want is they want compensation in order to rebuild their lives.
Is there any sense that you got from these victims whether or not they'd love to have a sit down with the king so that the king can formally apologize to them? Of course, there is the judicial system that it's run its course, but now the victims themselves, do you get that sense that they want to sit down with him even though they are demanding this compensation or reparations?
Well, when we spoke to them, they said that a few people coming from the royal palace did go to each household, and they did speak, and they did actually ask for an apology on behalf of the king. But in terms of the family, the victims sitting down with the kings, they have not mentioned that, because they said that they have actually forgiven the king, but the only thing that they want is the money so that they can rebuild their lives. He can come out. They don't mind that. He can rule the nation of AbaThembu. They don't mind that as well. But the only thing they want is just compensation, apparently.
Okay, let's quickly speak about the king ascending to the throne, because there is an acting king at the moment. Has the royal house been clear about what the next step will be in terms of the king now ascending to the throne?
Earlier this morning, you know, the family members all had a meeting discussing issues such as that, discussing when he will actually be meeting his people and when he'll actually ascend to the throne. But those will be announced later on this week, because they say that they will only announce those when they have spoken to the king, and when they actually sat down with him to actually come out with a solution as to when he will be ascending to the throne. You will remember that he has been in prison for the past 4 years or so, but the only thing the king wanted after he came out is to spend time with his immediate family.
Well, thank you so much. There you have it from our reporter, Lwandile Mbulali, joining us from the Eastern Cape. Sepiso, over to you.